What's going on YouTube? It's Suge Daniels with Gable Music Ventures coming at you with another video. We can all agree that 2020 was crazy. It started off all right like any other year, got a little weird, and then snowballed into absolute insanity. But that doesn't mean that music stopped. It didn't stop at all. In fact, it grew in ways that we never thought it would grow. So here at Gable Music, we wanted to share some of our favorites of the year, ended on a good note. Be sure to stick around, check it out. If you like this video, you like this type of content, be sure to subscribe, hit the little bell so you know when we're posting new videos, and comment down in the descriptions some of your favorites of the year because we want to know what you were listening to.
My favorite single of 2020 came kind of late in the year from one of my absolute favorites, Joy Ike. Her song Wearing Love, which she also released at the same time as the amazing music video, which if you haven't seen it, stop what you're doing, pause us and go and watch it. I'm kidding, after the video. Wearing Love is it's exactly what we need right now as a whole society. I think that she kind of struck to the core, and the music video is amazing. It's in some ways very similar to a lot of her other music, but there's a total departure at the end that is just straight up rock, and I loved everything about it.
My favorite single of 2020 by the band Haim. The song, The Steps, was released in about March or April, I think, before the actual album, Women in Music Part 3. It was a really cool kind of catchy tune with this awesome guitar riff that you can't really get out of your head. Very cool little drum beat in the background. And I think they did a wonderful job with making it something that was just really a pleasure to listen to whenever it comes on.
So my favorite single for 2020 was Miley Cyrus's Plastic Hearts. This came out at the later part of the year, being that it came out in November, but I think it really ended the year in kind of the way we're all feeling. It's sassy, feisty, but also fun, and it's a great song to just scream in your car when you're feeling stressed about the pandemic or life. So I think she did a really good job with this new rock angle she's trying to take, and I really enjoyed that particular song and the whole album.
There were a lot of great singles that came out in 2020. One in particular that stands out to me is the one that was done by Phoebe Bridgers and Maggie Rogers. They covered Iris, and they did that, they said that they would do that because if Biden won. And so when he won, they came out with this single. It was released as a benefit for the Georgia Senate race. And now you can only hear it on the radio. They haven't released it for purchase yet, but it is awesome and amazing.
So my favorite single of the year was Woman by Neo featuring Liana Lee Havis. Oh my gosh, it came out in August, I think it was. It was so cool. It's a woman empowerment song, so it's all about owning yourself, owning your sexuality and your power, but it's a booty shaking song. Like, I loved it. I just thought it was fun to marry the two, not make it so serious as a subject as it is, and make it something fun you could dance to and just groove to. So shout out to Neo and Liana Lee Havis for coming out with a smash hit. I love it.
So probably shocking to no one, my favorite album of 2020 was definitely Taylor Swift's Folklore. I can't stop listening to it. I feel like it's the perfect album for really anything that you're feeling. It takes you through a bunch of different stories and a bunch of different emotions, and no matter what kind of day I'm having, I always find myself wanting to go back to that album and listening to those songs.
Favorite album of 2020, Dua Lipa with Future Nostalgia. OMG, yes. It is the exact amount of positive energy that I needed. I don't know about you, but I needed something less depressing than what's happening in the world right now with this pandemic. It's got a mix of 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, all the decades, plus a little bit of modern electronic pop and some hip hop undertones. I think it's just super fun, and honestly, well played, Dua Lipa. We really needed this. Thank you so much.
My favorite album of the year was from Orion Sun. It's called Hold Space for Me, and it came out in March of 2020. I didn't discover it till later in the year, but from the first time it came on my Spotify playlist, I immediately went to who the artist was and have just been crazy about them ever since. Orion's son is I think New Jersey native, but lived in Philly for a long time. So somebody local too, which I thought was pretty cool. Like this music was getting made right up the street. It's like neo soul, some lo-fi, just really cool. I love the writing. It came to me right in a time in my life where I was kind of going through a lot of those things anyway. So to hear it be in such a beautiful way, in such a creative and new way too, really struck a chord with me. So that's probably going to be something I'm going to be addicted to for a long time, but definitely check her out.
So in 2020, there were a lot of good albums that came out, and it was really difficult for me to come up with just one. And so there are three that to me really typify what I thought were great albums for the year. One was Fiona Apple, Fetch Me the Bolt Cutters. I thought it was really amazing. I think she's amazing. I think her music is cool and it continues to evolve. Speaking of evolving, Miley Cyrus just moved it to a different level this year, and she needs to get a special, shout out for everything she's moving toward in her music and what that's all about in Plastic Hearts. Great CD. And finally, of course, I don't think I could say this without talking about Taylor Swift and Folklore. That was one of my favorites. Virtually every song on there I really, really love. Again, another artist remaking themselves. And you notice they're all women. I think this is important to recognize. Women are really stepping it up, and I'm really proud that we're a part of that.
My favorite album of 2020, this one was tough. I'm gonna give it to Pine Grove with their album Marigold. I loved it. It came out early this year. I had it on loop constantly. Really just loved it. It was simple and really kind of caught the mood of how I was feeling at the time. Very, very difficult to give it to anybody other than Taylor Swift with Folklore, which I've probably listened to even more than Marigold because I'm obsessed with that album. I want to give shout outs though to Lettuce for their album Resonate, because that was amazing. Lark and Poe for Self-Made Man. I could go on and on. There were some amazing albums this year. The gift of music was really strong.
Favorite live stream of 2020? I think there was too many live streams to watch. Everyone was doing a live stream. One of my favorites that I did get to watch was the Earth Day concerts. They were one of the first ones to come out in April, right after this whole pandemic started, and they did such a good job in such a short amount of time of filling those 3 days with all sorts of diverse artists. Angelique Kidjo, Aloe Black, Dave Matthews Band, I mean, you name it, they were probably on it. They also had actors and actresses, chefs, they had artists, they had professional athletes, and climate activists come together and have conversations about what's going on with the planet. So it was entertaining, it was educational and informative, and the way that they presented it on YouTube and on their website and having a chat available, it was just very interactive. So I thought it was a very well-rounded event. So Future Coalition, really good job with that.
So my favorite live stream during this year came out in July 2020. It was Phoebe Bridgers on iHeart Comics released. It was something on Twitch hosted by Zach Fox. It was a mouthful to say and the weirdest, wildest live stream I think I've seen throughout the whole year. It was all done on green screen. It started like 3 or 4 hours late. It was a bunch of people in Twitch like, it's coming, we're ready for it. I was following them on Twitter. They were having difficulties, but it was well worth the wait. It was so weird. It was like spaceship. There was a talking dog. They were trying to get to Goth Prom, and then which was really cool because they asked people to submit photos earlier of them going to prom like, in their goth attire. Phoebe Bridgers even had a picture. She's so weird and wild, and she had a phenomenal year also. Can I just say shout out to Phoebe Bridgers, like really doing it for the ladies out there. But that was so weird and wild and set the bar for me. It was hard to go back to watch any of the live stream after you see something that insane, but that was my favorite.
So yeah, live streams, wow. There was a lot of them this year. I want to give this to Heather Aubrey Lloyd, the live stream that she did way back when we were doing our mini digital Ladybug festivals, which was our first attempts at live streams. And it seemed like every single time there was an issue in some capacity, and then she came out of nowhere with a truly flawless, not only her live stream, but her performance, her promotion of it. It just stuck with me as like, this is the model for how a live stream should look. So Heather, you're awesome.
So 2020 was definitely the year of live streams for sure. But some of the ones that I particularly enjoyed were actually the award shows. And as we got further into 2020, they started getting more creative with how they were going to do this. Particularly the AMAs, they actually had all of the performers perform on like empty stages in arenas, which I thought was really cool to kind of give them more of a platform than being in their living room with no mics or music or anything like that. So the AMAs had a ton of great performances, but one of my favorites from the night was Holy by Justin Bieber. He's definitely had a rough few years, and I think his self-confidence and kind of the way he portrays himself has been really damaged, and I feel like that song and his performance just kind of looked like he got his mojo back and he's finally finding his sound again and who he wants to be as an artist, and I just really enjoyed watching that.
So live streams, boy, there were lots of them this year. And of course, I'm going to be selfish and say I loved Ladybug Music Festival, the first one that we did. Of course, that was my favorite. And one of the artists that was featured in that was KT Tunstall, and she just knocked my socks off. And she continues to knock my socks off. She did another live stream with Adam from Guster called Reverb Quarantine Kitchen. And for those of you who don't know, KT is from Scotland, and she made this dish with anchovies and zucchini noodles. But you have to watch this to fully appreciate how she pronounced anchovies, and I can't do it justice. But she won me over because anybody who loves anchovies, I love, because that is the miracle food for everyone. So I hope you get a chance to check that out, Quarantine Kitchen.
If you like live streams, you got a little taste for them now. Be sure to subscribe because we're working on a little something for you for the year of 2021. Subscribe and we'll be back, baby.
So I want to wish everyone a very, very happy new year. 2021 is going to be better. I feel it in my bones, but I appreciate everyone's support for all of the live music that has happened digitally or even in person in some rare instances. And we look forward to seeing you next year.
Happy New Year's, everyone. Thanks for sticking with us through this year, and we'll be back in 2021.
I am so happy that 2020 is almost over. Happy New Year, everybody.
Happy New Year's. Happy New Year's, guys. Thanks for hanging out with us. We'll see you 2021 and beyond.